Welcome to Center Heist Productions. It is December 18th, 2023. Please hit the likes and the subscribes down below. I would muchly appreciate it. Thank you to my followers. And yes, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. That will help the channel grow a bit. We're trying to create uh, a channel that has integrity here and comes out with facts, uh, not false rumors. So we're working hard at that. And that's our basis is about. So this is part 4 of the critiquing the Habs depth. So you'll have to go back to the first 3 parts to see what I can't waste too much time on taping on that. This is the 3rd time I've retaped this, and I'll apologize because this software would not allow me to. For some reason, it doesn't allow downloads, this particular software package. It's different if it's an image, but if it's a write-up that is a download type of thing, for some reason it will not accept it. So you're going to have to pay attention to my words, because I attempted it a few times. It was just not accepting it, and it's too much to write it all out by manually. So you're going to have to pay very close words to how we critique the defense and the future goaltending. And this is subjective. There will be some changes because there's a lot. We have a great problem when it comes to defense. We're just giving you our top guys. There are going to be about 4 or 5 guys that I put a little below that still could challenge for those top 6 positions on defense. However, I do think Montreal could be in a position that they keep 7 or 8 guys. I don't know what their plan will be. However, they don't. I don't. That's a management thing. I'm just going to go and give you my grades. This is a very difficult. It's very difficult to grade our defense. Well, it's a great problem they have. There's no doubt that Caden Gooley is a number 1. No doubt. He's one potential. He's proven it. Now, when we get into his partner, this gets tricky because the next 3 guys I mentioned have to prove it. Translation to the NHL is a different story. So I have 3 players, and this could, this is easily will be whoever translates the best. Now, for number 2, for me, Hudson and Reinbacher are the leaders. So it doesn't really matter the way I'm doing this, because I think Hudson could be a number 2, and I think Reinbacher could be a number 2. It's really hard to say. I think Hudson could be a partner for Gooley. I think Hudson could also be a partner for Reinbacher in the second pairing. So it's really hard to say. But either way, so I just put it down simple. I just put Gooley and Reinbacher for the time being. Hudson, and a surprise, who I believe, because he's making a lot of noise in the KHL. There's an individual that, I think hasn't gotten a lot of emphasis thrown on him, but his name is Konushkov. If I'm saying I'm butchering his name, he's a Russian defenseman, and he's been breaking all sorts of records over there. So I've got him down in the second pairing with Hudson. However, like I just told you, Hudson could very well be a first pairing with Gooley. So don't take that as, anything, because there's going to be guys challenging these guys too. For me, I see third pairing right now. I should have changed that. I have Jack-Eye and Barron. Jack-Eye, I think we absolutely need that time. I think he'll need that time for development to improve his defensive game, but I think he's a great element, and will still be a great 5 or 6 pairing defenseman. I put Barron in the 6th position. However, I have a lot of doubts if he will stay there. He does a lot of coughing up. He's improved a lot, but maybe falls into the 7th. but I put him in 6 for the time being because at least he's proven himself at this time. Same with Harris. It's kind of a position where Harris and Barron are kind of tied for that 6th spot in my books. This is for the future. Remember, this is not considering right now. We've probably got 2 seasons of Matheson and Kasevich still in the lineup. Unfortunately, the guy who's playing the best in the last 3 games is most definitely Savard. However, I think if they're going to end up trading him, this is just my thought, that him and Matheson will get moved in the next 2 seasons. I think Savard may be first at this trade deadline. Hate to see it, but like when Struble made his step forward, this is debating, do you hold back on some of the kids? And it's hard to do. I hate to see Savard go, and to me, I almost I don't know. This is what I'm just thinking management may be up to. It's kind of hard to see Savard go at this point because um, he's been our best defenseman in the last 3 games. So I don't know how this is all going to pan out, but there could be teams interested in him for a playoff push. I do think they'll hold on to Matheson maybe a year or 2 longer than Savard, just for his offensive prowl and still having a veteran back there. Now, those are guys that I believe will get traded, and I do think Kasevich will be probably a year following, because I think Kasevich in 2 to 3 years will get pushed out when all of these defensemen make their mark. But they'll all be good trade value. And then we have a Godin and a Sobolev who also fall into that category as well to me, because you just can't keep buying. And that's tricky because there's some. Sobolev seems to have an okay write up too, so that's hard to say now. I had as the guys, you've seen my first 6. Now I have Anstrom, Mayu, Kostinko, and Struble. Now Struble's kind of actually right now seems to be a little ahead of Barron and Harris in my books, because I think I think they're probably investing in time because they know he's got talent. They need that size. You can't keep going small. If we go too small with Harris, Barron, and Struble, this could be problematical, because then you start getting a little too small. Then you only end up with Reinbacher as being the one big individual. And Logan Mailloux right now is not looking great. He's going to need another year in Laval for sure. He's not ready for the NHL, and it seems to be his suspension and COVID, the combination. He needs a little more touches to catch up to speed before we'll know for certain. However, I do think Mailloux is a classic guy we could convert. I've heard some people say it should be Jackeye. Convert Jackeye. Why would you convert Jackeye when he's a big horse and proven that he can play there? Just got to tighten up his defensive skills. You got to have some big bulls back there. And, it'd be nice if Mailloux could do so as well. But Mailloux's defensive game is really bad. So, seeing what he's doing in Laval, he needs another year. And I don't know if he can convert it with the competitions that's coming. When Enstrom, Kostinko, Con used Goff, and well, you got Struble there now already. When they come into play, I really beg to wonder if Logan can compete with all of those guys. I think he's got the edge and would be a great power forward myself. And right now, that's what it's looking to be. I don't know if he can beat out those other 4 or 5 guys, actually. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys vying for, what will the Habs do? Will they keep 7 or will they keep 8 in the system somewhere? However they can pull that off, I don't know. There's going to be great trade value for whoever loses out in these battles, right? Because Montreal should be in their mindset to keep the best guys out of these 10 players. And there could be a couple names on not putting in the pack as well, because they just, like Trudeau, he'll be a trade bait. There's no doubt in my mind he just can't, with all of the names I have, and he's dropped off a lot. He won't be in the picture. He'll be trade bait. If anything, he might be NHL material if he gets out of his funk, but he won't be able to compete with the guys we have here. There's just too much talent here. And I mean, it's like I say, it's the same thing. I mean, in the battle just between Struble, Barron, and Harris, somebody's going to lose out here, and there could be two of those guys losing out, and one guy staying put. This is going to be an interesting battle to see, and this could it's going to also force, I believe, one or two of the left side defensemen to be able to break out a bit on the right side, because you're going to have Barron, who's a right-sided defenseman, and it may come to a head because you're not going to push Gooley and, in my book, Hudson out of the left side. Unless the only way Hudson I could ever see getting moved out of the left side is if he moved up with Gooley to the first pairing. That's the only way I see Hudson at all moving from the left side defense. Can he convert that to a right side defense? That's hard to say. We know Gooley can do it a bit. So, that gives you options. We don't know what Konyushka can bring. I haven't seen his repertoire. I think Reinbacker's definitely a right-sided defenseman, and they'll keep him that way. Barron is as well, but I think if Struble and Harris and Barron are going to be, for Struble and Harris, they're going to have to be able to convert, I believe, to the right side if they want an NHL, if they want to be on the Habs. Because with the guy, this is also pertaining. This could be a total of 3 to 4 years process by the time all these defensemen get out of Laval, into Laval for development, and then out of Laval move up to Montreal. So this has got a lot of, there's a time duration. And I think in my opinion, you're looking at about 3 years, to 4 years before they're all developed. All these names, and they can make a decision. And like I said, I mean, Enstrom's got a great. I would not be one bit surprised if he's a 6th or 7th player either. And I just think you have to keep Jack-Eye because you need some big bulls back there. So it'd be nice to have Jack-Eye and Reinbacker as the big bulls, and I think Kuyushkov is fairly big as well, so that wouldn't be bad. And Struble can kind of play big. Now, I don't know enough about Kostinko. And Logan Mailloux, we know he's big. I just don't know with all this talent if he can outbeat all of these guys. He just seems to be a little farther back than we all thought, right? And there's so much depth. It's going to be a good problem. And we don't even know. For Kuyushkov, then Enstrom, Mailloux, Kostinko, we don't even know what grade. We don't know if they are a second pairing defenseman or third pairing. We're kind of up in the air with this. We have our thoughts. I think this Kuyushkov is going to be a second pairing defenseman in my books. And Barron, to me, hangs on to the third pairing and may be pushed out, because I honestly think that Montreal should start rotating Barron, Harris, Struble, and Jack-Eye all down to develop their games just more, so they can get more of a look at what the closest to finished product is on them when they're fully developed. You got to keep Jack-Eye. You need that big horse, what he brings, because he is a good hockey player, not just a scrapper. He's not a Ryan Reeves. He's better than Ryan Reeves because he can play hockey. To me, you got to keep that in. If he gets pushed out, boy, you're going to have some tough defensemen to make up what he brings. That's for sure. So I hope Jack-Eye stays. I see, like I say, when I see Gooley, Reinbacker, Hudson, Konyushkov, and Jack-Eye, I see them as solid 5 guys that should make the team. Barron, Enstrom, Logan Mailloux, Kostinko, and Struble. And Struble right now looks like he's winning, the a 6th or 7th role defenseman right now. I don't know. As he gains ice time, will he be able to keep this keep up with this level when if he's facing better lines? Does he move up the rotation? They test him. Does his ice time move up? And does he hold to playing stable? We don't know that yet. I'm expecting you're going to see some holes in his game eventually here because he's not getting, at this point, he hasn't had severe ice time. He's doing great. So he's really put the heat on Harris, Barron, and Jackeye, that's for sure. However, I think we got to make a special place for Jackeye because he's just too valuable. But so I think it's, in my books, it would be a battle between Harris, Barron, and Struble. And I think if you want to keep Mayu, because he's got that great offensive side, turn him into a power forward. That's just my opinion. Like someone on one of the podcasts making the comment to convert Jackeye into a left winger. No, you can't do that. He's too big. You need a big horse. Like, look at Vegas. They had big horses. We had it even the year we went farther. You got to have some big horses back there. You can't. If we get too small in the back end, we're not going to go anywhere. I mean, that's the problem with Harris, Struble, and Barron. Size-wise, you're getting too small if you keep them all. All right, that would be problematic, I think, to go that small. And I don't even know with Enstrom whether he's huge. You need a couple of big guys like Gooley's a good size, Ryan Becker's a good size, and Jackeye's a good size. And I think Kuyushkov is a good size. So they can, either way, one of those top four are going to be, or five, are going to be able to insulate Hudson. So I don't have a worry in Hudson as long as his game can translate. I think any of those 4 or 5 guys will probably be able to insulate him and let him do his thing. So I do think his game can translate. So I just think it's, the question mark is who will win out in the 6th spot and the 7th spot, and do we possibly keep an 8th defenseman? I don't know. That's up to management, but that's a possibility. So that's where I see that. I see Savard and Matheson eventually getting traded. I see Kusevich down the road getting traded in 2-3 years. Same with Matheson, might be a year before for Matheson. And Godin and Sobolev, they'll be, in my books, there's a good write-up, a little bit of a good write-up on Sobolev, but I don't think they're going to be able to. I think these are guys all these guys I mentioned now, Savard, Matheson, Kusevich, Godin, and Sobolev will be good trade bait. And there may be one or 3 more guys from that challenging role in those 10 guys that are going to fight for 6 positions to 7 or 8, depending on what Montreal decides to do. Montreal's got big decisions to make there, very big. The only thing we know right now is Gooley's definitely a number 1, and really, we're not even sure where Jackeye is totally at yet. We know he's a 5, probably a 6 right now, but can he turn into a 4 or 5? It's really hard to say. And then with the push, it's hard to say. It's really difficult. All I know is you need some big bulls back there. So you got 10 defensemen that are for sure for the future. This is 2 or 3 years down the road that are going to be vying and putting on a, because Stinko's got a good write up too, another Russian defenseman. So, and Enstrom, So these guys got good write ups, but can they? It's going to be the translation to the NHL, and that's going to make a difference. If we can get the best out of those 10 guys, that's who you keep, right? And, like I say, I think Jackeye is a special case as long as we can develop his defensive game a little more. And I think he can, because I wouldn't bet against him. I think Jackeye, he's gotten there without being drafted with the work ethic he's got, I think, and I hope he hears it. Keep the determination up, because I think you can easily prove that you are definitely worthy of winning a role for the Habs blue line. Easily, because of what you bring. Physicality-wise, we don't have anybody with that physicality. And you need it. You're going to need somebody tough enough. It was sort of like when Sherratt was with Weber. Sherratt kind of brought that edge, that toughness. And you had one guy who was tough, a little tougher than the rest, and we need that somewhere in our six. So that takes care of the defense. That's why I say I couldn't put a list up because it wouldn't download to my software. I don't know why. Anyway, now we get to the goaltenders, and it's pretty simple. And you're going to be kind of thrown off here because I don't think anybody's emphasizing. We're all thinking Fowler. And yes, Fowler's going to be great. He's going to be one of the two when all is said and done. But that could be 3 years away, right? And it's the same thing. He's going to have a challenge from this from what's this guy's name? Volikin. Volikin, Russian goaltender. Remember, Russia's been breeding the best goaltenders in the league right now. When you look at Vasilevsky, um, Shesterkin, and Sorokin, easily they are breeding the best goaltenders. So don't be surprised, although we're all thinking it's Fowler number 1A, because these guys, however it falls, is going to be 1A, 1B. These are both guys, to me, that can easily be a starter. Easily. And they're going to be a great 1-2 punch. And if we can hold on to them going forward, that's going to be beautiful. So I think we got to, I love Fowler too. I love this kid, his interviews and everything. But don't count this Volokin out either because, like I say, the Russians have and I think he's a bigger size goaltender than Fowler, and that could be the determining factor in 1A, 1B. I don't know. But he's got some great numbers as well, really good numbers. And I believe he's got better numbers than Shesterkin. And Shesterkin and both Vasilevsky and Shesterkin and Sorokin was under them. So if that be the case, this kid's pretty darn good. So hard to say. It's another great problem to have, but it'd be great. I think again that's 3 to 4 years away because they develop slower. So you're going to have Monty in there for 2 to 3 years for sure. Matter of who comes up between um, Miller and Dobish, who ends up being the better of the two to back him up. But they're not going to be ready next year, so it'd be the year after for those two. And it's going to be a short stay because even Monty, by the time Monty, I believe, gets to the end of his contract, Fowler and Volokin are going to knock him out, and he'll be great trade material once again, right? And the same with Dobish or Miller, whoever backs Monty, and who knows, they could maybe push ahead of him. I don't know. We'll see when they get totally developed. But I don't see any of those three being able to challenge Fowler and Volokin. So that's where I see the goaltending. I honestly see those two as a 1A, 1B. Easily. They probably both could be 1As, technically. One is barely going to win the job, I think. So that being said, that's where I see the depth. Our depth is great on defense and goaltending, I think. Wouldn't hurt to get another goaltender in the system. We don't need to go after any more defensemen. We got a log jam now, but it's a good thing with anybody who, like I mentioned, the top 10 that will be vying for 6 to 7 spots, possibly 8. There's going to be 3 or 4 guys gone that you can trade up, and they'll be NHL materials. It's the same thing. Trudeau's not even going to make that group. He's just going to, he could very well end up being, he's not doing great right now. He could end up being NHL material. But I think he's a definite trade for, and all of these guys that we do end up trading off, even this year with our veterans, once we start trading these guys, they're all going to bring in something, and we should utilize it well to strengthen our offense. Our offense is our weak point, and it's very weak. We got some great signs. We don't know, So you go back to my offense side of things. It's on episode 3, I believe, and this is 4, and we'll have one more episode coming on grading the depth and what our management has done, because we got to look at this. Other than Hudson, what's his name? Kuyushkov and Reinbacher, they were all and Kostinko, I believe, were all Hice's drafts. Everybody brought before this, Hudson, yes, I did say Hudson, but Cooley, and yeah, even Barron was Hice's word, but Enstrom, Struble, Cooley, Gagai were all Bergevin's boys, and he did well on his defense. We're reaping the rewards of good, solid defensemen in this crew, and Enstrom in there too. We got a couple real gems out of Hughes as well, but it's a great problem to have, and our goaltending is it's all Hughes. When you look at what's coming, I mean, the future with Volokin and my words, that's terrible. Volokin and Fowler, that's all Hughes. So our goaltending is his. He's done a great job. But so we've got some great things. It's everything we have valuability wise, though it's on the defense, and we don't know. Our offense has got a great sign with Slab if he can keep if his ceiling is extremely high, and I think it's gonna be, but I think he's gonna be a little longer to get there. But he's showing signs, and it looks like we might have built the line for the time being until he does reach a ceiling. Because I still say Doc and Slav has the chance of being part of line one. Caulfield and Suzuki, they're not line one material. Caulfield could slip in there if he was stuck with a Doc and a Slav. He could probably pass in there. I don't think, although, like I say, if you can get a real good left side guy, because we'll see if we can get some. We need a goal scorer, so it'd be nice to have a goal scorer on that left side, and or you put Slav on the left side, whichever. And we don't even know with Slav. And then Doc's going to be a little bit behind due to this injury, so they'll be making up time again as well. But I do not see, to me, Caulfield and Suzuki are second line pairings, and Slav could fall into maybe he's a second line player, right? We don't know. He'll be between 1 and 2, that's for sure. Doc's kind of in that position as well, where those two look like they're the best options for one. The way things look in their progress. But Suzuki and Caulfield have had enough time. To me, only one of them could technically be a second liner, but play with, like if Doc and Slab go the way we hope, could end up being on that wing. But anyway, you see how our defense is rated, and it's going to bring us in a lot of, value, which we can address because we need to size up. We got so many small forwards. It's such a shame because I can only see 3 or 4 of them making the team. Cannot keep them all. There's just no way. We have to size up on the wings. And we need a goal scorer. Hopefully a big, sizable guy that's a goal scorer would be nice to have as our goal scorer. So that being said, that takes care of our defense, and our goaltending is in great shape and should bring us in some great value to trade for some wingers, some big talented wingers down the road. So thank you for joining me. We're at Puck Drop First here at Center Ice Productions. You will see a tape of the review of tonight's game of us playing the Jets. Don't expect a victory there, though that team is hot. Everything they're working on all cylinders. Got a lot more experience than us, so it's hard to say. I would project something like a 5-3 victory for Winnipeg. I will review that game, however, and we shall come out with the final part of this series of the depth of how our management's doing and what we think, how we're progressing in this rebuild. So, thank you for joining me, and we'll catch you in the next episode after the review of tonight's game. God bless.